Welcome to Doug in Exile. How is everybody today? I think we're going to do a live episode tonight at 6 p.m. So Central, 7 p.m. Eastern. No, that would be 5 p.m. Eastern. Man, I get my times all mixed up. It's 6 p.m. Central is all I know. Okay, I'm going to stick to my own time zone.
It's the Doug Show. Doug Show. Doug Show. It's the Doug Show. Doug Show. Doug Show.
Welcome to Doug in Exile.
Okay, we just got some tragic, disturbing news about Fetterman. Statement from Fetterman's spokesperson. During an early morning walk, Senator Fetterman sustained a fall near his home in Braddock. Out of an abundance of caution, he was transported to a hospital in Pittsburgh. Upon evaluation, it was established he had a ventricular fibrillation flare-up that led to Senator Fetterman feeling lightheaded, falling to the ground, and hitting his face with major injuries. Oh my Lord, this is terrible. Senator Fetterman has this to say, quote, "If you thought my face looked bad before, wait until you see it now," unquote. He has an incredible sense of humor. I love him. He's doing well and received routine observation at the hospital. He has opted to stay so doctors can fine-tune his medication regimen. Senator Fetterman is grateful to the EMTs, doctors, and nurses who are providing care. Guys, we got to pray for John Fetterman right now. Let me know in the chat. Will you not pray for him? Lord, heal John Fetterman. Great to see him have a sense of humor about this. Part of why we dig him. We don't want any harm to come to our political opponents, but he's even more of an ally. So I pray for God's blessing on John Fetterman and healing.
We got Dan Bongino pushing back on Thomas Massie, who's been sowing dissent and telling lies. So first, we're going to go down to this tweet. And by the way, don't forget to subscribe, especially if you want to hear this kind of news. So first, here's Thomas Massie. He says, "I received this troubling letter today from the attorney representing the most recent FBI whistleblower regarding the J6 pipe bomb investigation. Just a reminder to FBI Director Kash Patel." He hates that Kash Patel is of Indian descent. "In case this letter is warranted, federal law prevents retaliation against whistleblowers." Now, here's Dan Bongino. In response, Congressman Massie, "When Director Patel and I entered on duty in our leadership position in the FBI, we had our hands full. They're greatly understaffed, guys. But we were happy to be a part of the president's team, and we still are. Despite the multitude of challenges we faced, one of our first initiatives was to aggressively pursue a new strategy to investigate the January 6th pipe bomb terror attack." So they're just taking a different strategy where they brought in new personnel because the old Democrat personnel were part of the cover-up. To take a look at the case, we flew in police officers and detectives to work as task force officers. To review FBI paperwork, we conducted multiple internal reviews, held countless in-person SVTC meetings with investigative team members. We dramatically increased investigative resources, blah, blah, blah. This is only a small sample of the work the FBI personnel and leadership team have put into this critical investigation. When I spoke with you, Thomas Massie, yesterday, this is Dan Bongino, a little after 8 a.m. Eastern, screenshots attached, I offered you an in-person brief on our work, and we spoke for 10 minutes. I called you back after 7:30 Eastern to again make that offer. You didn't answer and didn't call me back. Despite this, you continue to imply that the director and I are targeting investigators in the case. So Dan Bongino, Thomas Massie, you crossed the wrong guy. This is disgusting, Bongino says, of Thomas Massie, even by the low standards many have for politicians. You know my number, and you're free to call me anytime, but it's easier to tweet and throw BS bombs. That's our conclusion of Thomas Massie and Rand Paul, frankly, and anyone on that weirdo, middle-right, libertarian-leaning Epstein file obsessed weirdos, conspiracy theorists, not on board with the agenda. Yes, our leadership team will be meeting with the FBI team members today. I proudly serve this administration and proudly work with Director Patel to reform and advance the crime fighting and national security missions to the FBI. We would love to have you as a partner in this mission rather than a dog barking from behind a fence. And there you go, guys. We want Massey as a partner, but I'd rather just, you know what, kick him out. Primary him, get out. Here's next order with the Democrats screaming, no, no, as the continued resolution bill passed last night so the poor could eat, and the Democrats are furious. No. No. Every time someone put in a vote and the numbers went up. No, they're screaming in terror. No, the people, they get to eat. Here's the DNC ordered workers back to the office, and its union isn't pleased. Thumbs down emojis float on screen as Washington area employees learned they would have to show up 5 days a week. Their union called the move callous. This is Democrats, guys. They don't have a work ethic the way the rest of us do. And they don't care about the poor like the rest of us do. So I'm just going to play this. This is a obese poor lady who wants her SNAP food. She's starving to death. Now remember, guys, obese people can starve to death too. This is who, I just want you to look at this voter here. This is who the Democrats starve. And I want to ask this lady, this pink-haired black lady, are you going to vote for the Democrats again now that you know that they will unnecessarily starve you purely for politics? That's my question to this lady. How will you vote? Otherwise, save your tears. You put an X next to a Democrat, you're asking them to starve your children, black people, your kids, your daughters. Do you want your people to die? Never put an X next to a Democrat, ever.
It's really bad.
Danielle Grant is starving.
I'm trying to see if I can get some food because we literally don't have anything to eat today or tomorrow. So we're going to try to make ends meet, and we can.
Desperate for food, nowhere to go. Grant and many others got to the Hope Line today just to make an appointment to come back later in the week for food.
Look at all those people in line voted for Democrats. They vote for Democrats, then cry when the Democrats starve them and say, you better vote right, or we're going to shut down the government and you're going to starve. Let them eat cake.
Resources are slim, leaving 40% of Bronxites without money to feed themselves.
Now, my wife, the beloved Miss Tenaple, the beloved Mrs. Tenaple is probably, well, she is the greatest person I've ever met, I've ever known. And she works at one of these places that sell clothes and give to the homeless here in Tennessee. One of the biggest ones in Tennessee is Graceworks. Lots of poor coming in there. And, there's a lot of left-leaning people that go into helping the poor. And they turn around, they vote for the Democrats that shut the government down instead of feeding these starving people. Now, our churches all stepped up and started creating food bags for Graceworks to hand out. Again, conservative, Republican, mostly MAGA people at that church. Not that we have a formal ideological statement, but you know how this divides up. These people in line, they vote Democrat.
Some still in shock.
You heard things before, but it's like, they're not going to let people starve. That's ridiculous, but it's like, no, that's literally like what's happening.
We hope
they'll do worse than make people starve, lady. They abort more black females, that is your own people. There'd be about 20 million to 30 million more Democrat voters if they didn't abort them since Roe v. Wade.
Food pantries maintain open.
They literally kill their own.
Stay open. I really don't know what we're going to do next.
We asked people their reaction to hearing that the Trump administration will partially fund the SNAP program. People say it's not going to do much. They have families to feed and already struggled at the end of every month when they were receiving the full amount.
They're already poor.
Not enough. At least there's something to hold on, but I think everybody's going to have to get a second job.
It doesn't really last the whole month, probably like 2 or 3 weeks. And then about the last week, you got to scramble to find, things.
This couple has 4 kids. The mom says pantries aren't always reliable.
This couple is just like me and my wife as far as the number of kids. We have 4 kids. They have 4 kids. But they have to go and get free food, and that breaks my heart. They're living right up against the edge. Most people that are impoverished, it's very expensive to be poor. Did you know that? It's very cheap to be rich. I can solve all my problems with money. If I need a new computer, I go buy a new computer. They can't even keep their car running.
Limited supply, or by the time we get to the front of the line, then it's really nothing there. So it's hard.
She says she's holding on to faith. Meanwhile, others are worried hunger will drive crime rates up. We don't know how much money will be reloaded onto people's cards and when that will be. In Longwood, Lindsay Tanny.
She said that she's holding on to faith. Definitely hold on to faith, but don't hold on to the Democrat Party. Don't vote for them, or you guys are asking for it. Very little sympathy for people that vote for people that actively are willing to starve them for political points. Now here's Trump signing the CR bill that just funds the government. Guys, this is only till January. Democrats, I don't think, are stupid enough to starve their own people again in an election year. They ain't going to do it again in January. Sign that bad boy. Signs it into law. Good man. Good people. Some Democrats defected. Here's Katie Couric.
Do you think
That's what Howard Stern used to call her, Katie Couric.
that flag should have been flown at half staff? Do you think his body should have been flown on Air Force Two? Do you think
She's angry that people showed respect to Charlie Kirk. Now, my alma mater's been in the national news, Point Loma Nazarene University, where I graduated and met the beloved Mrs. TeNapel back in 1988. They have rejected Charlie Kirk's Turning Point USA chapter on Point Loma Nazarene University's campus for the 3rd time. Point Loma Nazarene University is a woke, fake, Marxist institution. And I saw this back when I was there. All of these Marxists, it's pro-LGBTQ, or I should say LGBTQ affirming and racial sensitivity. Do not fund these schools. Parents, don't put your kids in these schools. It's Christian placebo. It actually vaccinates your kids against Christianity, gives them a little bit of Christianity so that the devil can create his antibodies and resist it better. It's basically a therapeutic form of deism, soft deism, where it's hardcore, radical, conservative, right-wing, real holiness, not fake functional dichotomy holiness of Phineas F. Brzee, all these Niebuhr, social justice theory, scriptures full of errant scriptures. These are all woke institutions. Now, Biola has fully fallen to the LGBTQ mandate. Everything Marxism pushes is through our Christian institutions. I sent my daughter to Lipscomb out here. That's Church of Christ. Pat Boone paid for their art wing. As soon as I put her in school, they announced that they hire a diversity, equity, and inclusion person. First hire. And then they're bragging about it on email. All of these conservative schools are woke. It's better to send your kids to the front lines to a secular school. Way better for them just to go, look, I'm throwing you into the deep end of the pool instead of drown you slowly and teach you that this bland, flaccid form of Marxism is real Christianity.
should have posthumously be given the Presidential Medal of Freedom? I think some people felt that that was perhaps over the top in terms of mourning someone like Charlie Kirk. How did you?
What about all these people, including Point Loma Nazarene University, the way they mourned Black Lives Matter, George Floyd? White people were bowing down to kneeling before black people. Kneeling. I had a friend, one of my good buddies, he's a musician. He was a Christian. He was marching with Black Lives Matter in downtown Nashville until they stopped the parade and some black radical stood up and said, kneel. All you white people, kneel. And my friend was shocked because of all the other people that kneeled. They did it. They knelt to a black person. My friend walked out with his buddy. They both walked out of that giant Nashville. This is in country music, Tennessee, guys. It's all woke. It's all Marxist now. But my friend said he walked out of that crowd and was afraid as he was making his way back to the car. Why was he afraid? No curtailing that. Racial sensitivity all over Point Loma, all over. But then when it comes to giving the students a place to mourn with TPUSA, you get nothing. So she's all, isn't it a bit over the top? Did you watch George Floyd, Summer of Love?
You feel about that?
I'd say that was his choice and his prerogative. And that was really entirely up to him.
Did you have any issues now in hindsight over some of the things that Charlie Kirk said and some of the rhetoric he used during his life?
I didn't agree with much of it. I didn't closely follow his specific kinds of views, but I did.
I'm sure you learned about them after his death, though.
Oh, this is so, look at the condescending. If you look right into Katie Couric's face, that's what it looked like every time I got sent to human resources at Nickelodeon, DreamWorks. That's what I looked at. You know, Doug, and they were very kind, just like her, very gentle. They get mad at you for yelling, but really they're the most hateful, poisonous, passive aggressive. This is how they talk to you. We're some of the things that he said. Is that the kind of things that you would agree with? Is that what we are doing here, John Fetterman? And look at him. He's kind of like a retarded guy. She has him in the office and look at him. She's looking straight into camera. He averts his eyes down. Ma'am, I didn't mean anything by it, ma'am. She goes, you go to re-education training. They send you to sensitivity training where you have to watch movies and it's a guy telling black jokes at the office and they ask you these insulting questions. Is it okay to tell N jokes at work? And you check the box. No. Is it okay to call LGBTQ affirming people, FAGGOT? Check the box. Yes or no? And you write, no. This is all of it. All of your culture. He got sent to human resources.
No, I haven't done a deep dive on it.
No, ma'am, no.
I described, we've all seen that terrible video. Perhaps if you've seen.
Look at him. Poor guy. You know what the answer is, John? You tell her, how dare you? Shut up. You shot him in the neck. Didn't you get enough? Didn't you get enough of his blood spraying on camera? Aren't you happy yet? Don't tell me how to mourn.
The actual video, I have. And it's like appalling. And that's part of the political violence. And from what I'm saying, it's like that's unacceptable. And engaging in a debate and views I strongly disagree on, that's part of the American democracy. And for me, it's that would never justify what's happened. And I just chose not to take the opportunity to argue his views after children lost his father in the most violent public way.
Correct response, John Fetterman. Are we going to argue about all of his views? He goes, look, he got shot and killed in front of his wife and kids. Isn't that enough? Do we have to argue his politics now? Katie Couric is disgusting. John Fetterman, he's like a simple man, like flowers for Algernon. Charlie, he became brilliant after his stroke. He's gaining power, becoming brilliant. And he might slowly revert back to that one day. But I really appreciate his leadership. You know what? I'm going to have to continue the rest of this video on another video. But thank you guys for watching. We'll do much more Fetterman today, much more of the lay of the land. I wanted to just kind of unload on you guys today because you're the best audience in the world. Hope you've subscribed, but even if you haven't, I'll be here with more and more videos until I finally convince you I'm Doug in Exile.